Hello there, my fellow myth and fantasy nerds. My name is Tanner, and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. So, apologies for disappearing last week. I had some family visiting the 4th of July weekend, so I took a little bit of time off to visit with them. Now that we're up to speed, today's video will be the 4th installment of my series where I introduce you to the D&D characters that I created but have not played yet. As mentioned in my previous videos, linked to the playlist up on the cards and in the description, I decided to break this series down by character race, or species if you prefer, and this week I'll be going over my Firbolg characters. Now, for those of you that aren't in the know, Firbolgs are essentially a race of half-giants that also happen to be related to the Fae. They tend to cloister themselves in small tribes that tend to be hidden within strongholds in the woods, and they very much prefer to spend their days living in a peaceful harmony with their forest homes. However peaceful they may be, though, you better not let that fool you, because they will defend themselves formidably when provoked, showing their prowess with both martial weapons and druidic magic. So as always, please make sure to leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe down below, since that always helps. And without further ado, allow me to introduce to you the first character in the 4th group of D&D characters that I've created. Daeneiros, you're on! What was that? I'm on? Oh, greetings all. My name is Daeneiros, and I am a Firbolg Bard. Now, when I was a young lad, I lived in a secluded Firbolg community. I would play with others my own age, I would listen to our chieftain's wisdom, and I learned to play the lute from my father, who is our community's healer. Now, one day, the chief of our tribe was poisoned, and I was somehow blamed for the murder, which I did not commit. I understandably left the community, and the chief's men chased after me. So I went into hiding. Someday I wish to clear my name and find the true poisoner. Now, Tanner's plan, once he plays me to the correct level, of course, is for me to become a College of Creation Bard. Now, I don't know if Wesley explained this to you when you were introduced to him, but what this means is that we believe the creation of the world was done through the Song of Creation, and bards of the College of Creation work to learn that primeval tune, and therefore use its power to do great feats of magic. Now, of course, my highest score as a bard is obviously going to be my charisma, which in this case is at 15. And once again, unfortunately, my worst score is my strength at 11. Now, as for my alignment, most Firbolg tend towards the neutral good alignment, and I am not a particular exception. Anywho, it was a pleasure to make your acquaintance, of course, and now I will pass it over to the next character. Farydark? Thank you much, Daeneiros. Hello there. My name is Farydark, and as with the others you're going to meet, I am also a Firbolg. However, unlike Daeneiros, I am not a bard, but a warlock, though my upbringing is rather similar to his. Now, one of the main ways our story deviates is when I went into hiding, I hid in a grove that was sacred to Oberon, the Green Lord. I begged him for sanctuary, and, taking pity on me, he granted it. A few months went by, and then Oberon told me it was safe. He and I made a pact together. He would grant me warlock magic and help me clear my name in exchange for good and brave deeds. Something like that. Now, as for my ability scores, Charisma is going to be my strongest at 18, which, all things considered, is pretty good. And my worst score is once again going to be my Strength at 7. Yeah, I'm not exactly the strongest tree in the forest. So anyway, my patron Oberon is an archfey who just so happens to be the king consort to Titania, the queen regent of the Summer Court, otherwise known as the Seelie Court, made up of mostly good and neutral aligned fae. Now, when he made a pact with me, he gave me an arcane focus, which in my case takes the form of a staff, made from the gnarled branch of an old great tree, with an orb of amber encased within it. Now, when Tanner plays me and gets me to the right level, he plans on us having to go with Pact of the Tome, where my patron will give me a Book of Shadows, which will contain 3 new cantrips for me to use. Also, like Daeneiros, my alignment is neutral good. Oh, look over there. It's the next character Tanner wants to meet. Oh, Qidan. Yeah, Farydark? Oh, my apologies. I didn't see you there. My name is Qidan, and as with the others in this video, I am a Firbolg. However, in my case, I am a sorcerer. Specifically, a storm sorcerer. Now, my backstory actually starts out similarly to the others in this video, except for the fact that the day I was born actually coincided with a very powerful gale force wind that ripped through my forest home. It was so powerful, in fact, that it permeated the stories of my people all throughout my life. Now, when I eventually went into hiding, I discovered my wind magic, which was the connection between me and the storm that whipped through my village, and I've used it to help others in my travels. I've been traveling the world helping others ever since. Now, being a sorcerer, my highest score is going to be my charisma, again at 15, whereas my worst scores are actually a tie between my strength and my intelligence at 12. I guess you could say I'm only slightly above average when it comes to strength, and I also only have a slightly above average level of book smarts at least. Street smarts, aka wisdom, I might have just a bit more of. Also, like with my fellow Firbolg characters, my alignment is going to be neutral good. Anyway, it was a pleasure to meet you, but I should probably send you over to the next character. Theyarus? Ah! What? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really easily startled. I'm Theyarus, and I'm a Firbolg Druid. Now, my story is actually really eerily similar to the other Druids you've met so far, due to the fact that I was from a Druidic village that was destroyed by a dragon. However, unlike the others, my village wasn't destroyed by a fire-spewing red dragon, nor an ice-spitting white dragon, but instead a poisonous, gas-breathing green dragon. Now, like with the others, Tanner hasn't played me yet, but he does plan on making me a Circle of Dreams druid once I get to the correct level. This is fitting because we Firbolg are related to the Fae, and the Circle of Dreams is actually fake coded. Also, as with most of the other Firbolg you've met, and you will meet, I am of the neutral good alignment. My highest score as a druid is my wisdom at 18, but my lowest score is my strength at 8. Yeah, admittedly I'm rather scrawny for a Firbolg. Anyway, it was nice to meet you, but like with my other druids, I'll need to commune with nature because that usually helps calm me down. Uh, Xenon, you mind taking over from here? Of course they are us. You go on and commune with nature, and I'll take it over from here. Greetings and salutations. My name is Zinnan, and I am a Firbolg Wizard. Now, my backstory is pretty similar to every other Firbolg other than Theyarus, and when I was in hiding, I taught myself magic in order to protect myself. Now, as a wizard, my highest score is going to be my intelligence, since that's where we get our magic from. However, it is also tied with my constitution, both of which are at 15. Now, my worst score, on the other hand, is my strength at 9. Now, like with my fellow Firbolg characters, I am of the neutral good alignment, and Tanner's intent, as soon as he plays as me, is to specialise as, once again, an Order of Scribes wizard, as soon as we get to the appropriate level. Anywho, it was a pleasure to make your acquaintance. However, we've got to round off this group of characters, and I think I know just the Firbolg. Oh, Perran, I think I see someone who's harming the helpless. Gotta go. Where are they? Let me at him! Let me at him! Oh, apologies if I scared you. Uh, my name is Perran, and once again, I am a Firbolg. However, unlike most of my other Firbolgs, I am a Barbarian. Now, my story begins the same as most of the other characters here, with me being part of a tribe of Firbolg. However, my tribe wandered from place to place, protecting each other when needed. One day I wandered off by myself when the rest of us were resting, and I came across a strange grove that, unbeknownst to me, was connected to the Feywild. Also unbeknownst to me, the magic from that plane became infused within me. I went back to the tribe changed, altered. The others noticed it. They saw that I was different, and they treated me with caution. The day they finally saw just how different I was when our tribe was raided by a band of orcs. My people fought them off as much as they could, but the orcs had the upper hand. That is, until I suddenly summoned up a strange power. I summoned a powerful rage, one that used the magic of that strange realm, the magic that was now infused with my very soul, and drove the orcs away. The tribe then saw the power I now wielded, and I was ostracized and cast out of the tribe. I've wandered the world ever since. Now, once again, since Tanner has not played me yet, I do not have a character level. However, the plan is when he eventually does play me, I will take the Barbarian path of wild magic when I reach the right level, of course. Now, my best score is going to be my strength at 18, which, as mentioned before, is not really that bad now, is it? And my worst score is going to be my wisdom at 10. So I got some average common sense. What's it to ya? And of course, my alignment is going to be neutral good, like all the other Firbolgs. Anyway, I think it's high time Tanner wrap up here. Tanner? Thank you, Perrin. At least one of my barbarian characters listens to me. Anyway, and there we have it. That was the fourth set of D&D characters that I've created, but haven't played yet. If you liked this video and you want more, please leave it a like and subscribe down below so you don't miss any new ones. Also, if you have any other ideas for any future videos, please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And who knows, it might just happen. Alright, well, that's all the time I have for this video, so I'll see y'all next week with a brand new one. See you guys then.